Good morning once again, and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. We appreciate you listening. Feel free to give us a call at 612-504-8400, havenfinancialgroup.com, our website, all kinds of classes on there. You know, Kim, your retirement strategy is one of the most important aspects of your life, and it truly underpins your entire life during your retirement. And it's not easy to keep up with the changing landscape, the stock market that's all over the board, in addition to really understanding your own situation. So doing it wrong could be a costly mistake that really could cost you in these golden years and these retirement years. And at Haven Financial Group, almost now 11 years, we've had the privilege of helping people in a variety of these areas, some folks in all these retirement areas. And we'd love to sit down with you as well. Check out our classes. I mean, we have one other class at the Education Center on May 7th. It's called Wine, Cheese, and Retirement Ease, The Truth About Annuities. What a great class. Come on in. It's all educational. Most of these are 4 or 5 o'clock, and they're all on the website. They're open to the public. Materials provided. We'll have as much fun with some of these stuffy topics as you possibly can, and they are educational.
I love it. 612-504-8400. That's how you reach the folks at Haven Financial Group. Or, of course, you can go to their website. It's havenfinancialgroup.com. Well, we've talked a bit about college planning and how important it is and how, sitting down and thinking out the strategy of planning for college is as important as saving itself. So we do want to remind everybody that if this is something that's on the horizon for you, whether you have young children or maybe your grandparents who want to try to do some saving for your grandkids, be sure you give the folks at Haven Financial Group a call. We want to just kind of change the subject here a bit, Larry, for the last segment and talk a little bit about family financial planning. I mean, certainly college planning is part of that, but protecting generational wealth. I think there's a lot of people who are listening right now who may be thinking immediately, oh, generational wealth, that just means that you just have a lot of money and you're going to pass it all down, and that doesn't apply to me. But this really can apply to every family associated with passing down what you have accumulated and what you want to leave for the rest of the family, correct?
Wealth means different things to different people. So this last segment, when you hear wealth, please don't tune us out and go, oh, they're speaking only to the multimillionaires.
Right.
Couldn't be further from the truth. This applies to every single person listening. The value of family financial planning, again, to different degrees, depending upon your age, how big of a family. So it can be a variety of things. Not all of us are going to have the same look when it comes to this, but it can create long-term vision, shared goals, clear goals. What do you want to happen? Not just in your lifetime, but your lifetime, your kid's lifetime, your grandkids' lifetime. And it could be generations. It could be education funding, which we've already talked about. Mm-hmm. Maybe home ownership for those that are quite young listening today. Retirement years. A good goal and a good plan can really strengthen the purpose and unity around these decisions and educational decisions. A staggering statistic is without a coordinated plan, 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation and a whopping 90% by the third. That's agonizing. That's actually quite sad, actually. It's why we think having an estate plan is so important. Mm-hmm. I teach wills, trusts, and legacy planning with Provision Law. Carrie, Keith, and Lexi are estate planning partners. Get started early. We've created estate planning. We've created it as a senior topic. It was not designed to be a senior topic. It was designed if you got married, if you had children, you bought a home, you got a job, that's when it was designed for. So having powers of attorney. Why? Because life happens.
Sure.
Things that are unplanned happen. We want to avoid some of these things, these mistakes that really can be avoided. But it starts the plan. It just has to have some sort of plan intact. And a lot of people just don't.
Well, one of the things that can be avoided is overpaying the government, Uncle Sam, where your wealth doesn't get passed down because it ends up in taxes. So certainly reducing your tax burden is a really important part of family financial planning.
Well, we are big into forward thinking tax planning, tax discussions. I think Lance Larson, our CPA, finally came out of hibernation after tax season finally getting over. He was helped a lot of families with their tax preparation, but he's in all year long. A lot of times tax preparers, you won't see him for several months. He's in the office. We do now is the planning part of the season. And
Hmm.
we're big into tax planning as it relates to family financial planning, estate planning. It's making sure that we're reducing the tax burden to the best of our to the best of our ability, whether that's Minnesota estate tax, whether that's federal estate tax. How does a trust benefit and reduce those taxes, minimize it? Doing Roth conversions. These tax discussions, they're not exactly fun and exciting, but they do become a little bit more exciting when you realize that you did something to minimize taxes. Again, Uncle Sam isn't your favorite uncle, and I don't think we necessarily want to give him a tip, but they'll take it if we give it to them. But there's a variety of things that can minimize taxes in retirement, but you got to have the conversations.
Sure.
You got to have the partner. Who are you leaning on to have these? Just when you figure out the tax code, then they change the tax code. But then how do you know if they change the tax code if you're not working with somebody? And a lot of folks are not planning at all. They just dropped off their taxes and they picked them up and they didn't even talk to their tax preparer, which unfortunately for retirement planning, it doesn't bode well for making strong tax decisions. And that's really what we want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can't stress that enough that this is the planning season. So maybe you didn't spend time with the folks at Haven Financial Group as you led up to April 15th, but now is the time to develop a relationship so you're prepared for next April 15th. We're talking about a wealth stability, we're in, family financial planning in an effort to protect generational wealth. Tax strategy is certainly an important one. It's really important for families too to prepare for any kind of crisis that might come along before it actually happens. Because again, Larry, that's a quick way for some of your wealth to just be eaten up if you haven't made preparations.
You are correct. Families with established financial plans, statistics shows, are more resilient during emergencies like unfortunate job loss,
Hmm.
um, uh, illnesses. Life has a way of not following our calendar, no doubt about it. Market downturns, the bear market, unfortunate timing, resiliency. So the plan really gives it more resilience. We have folks we're talking taxes that are charitable. Just this week, I had somebody say, you know what, I have my RMD this year, but I don't need it. We do qualified charitable distributions. Maybe you have an influx of income this year and you want to reduce. What donor advised funds? We do those with Fidelity Investments and Charles Schwab, the investment team does. So again, sitting down and having these conversations, making sure we're making educated decisions, it can provide structures to you, your spouse, your family, your heirs, your kids, whoever it is. And structure is important. If we don't have any structure, we might be losing out on something that it took years to build. And unfortunately, we see that happen. And we want to make sure we're doing the best we possibly can.
And while putting together this plan, I know we talked about estate planning, but it's also important to sit down with your family and to set up a structure when it comes to governance when you're no longer there. Is that something you guys facilitate?
We do. We do. To whatever degree families want to. All families are different.
Right.
Some families probably better off they don't have a lot, but for most families, communication obviously can lead. If you know the intentions of somebody before they're gone or before something happens, the communication will come out and they can benefit from them. Again, everybody has different situations. So if you're listening today and you're younger, or you have little kids, or you're retired, have grandkids, this does apply to you. Do
Hmm.
you have all the puzzle? It's never too early to get started, and it starts with a conversation. With us, there's no cost to that conversation. At Haven Financial Group, if it's the estate planning, if it's the investments, wealth management, Medicare, we help lots of people with Medicare. Glenn and Isabel at the office. Glenn earlier mentioned the life insurance and long-term care reviews as it relates to taxes and tax preparation. When do you turn on Social Security? We teach these classes, have for years. Educated decisions, not doing it. The average American leaves $182,000 on the table by turning on Social Security at the wrong time. That's unfortunate. We see it.
Right. Absolutely. Well, generational wealth isn't just about growing your assets. It's really about putting together a really good plan so they are protected and they're protected with intention. If this is something that you'd like to sit down with someone and talk about, and all of these retirement puzzle pieces, we would encourage you to give the folks at Haven Financial Group a call. 612-504-8400. 612-504-8400. Tell them you heard us right here on the radio. Larry, it's been a very informative show like always.
Kim, always have a great week, and we look forward to visiting with you next week.